No game quite like StarCraft 2 here at the Esports World Cup that will test your tenacity, your fortitude. Every facet of your game has to be on point. It's day number 3 here at the Esports World Cup as our gamers will go head to head. They are the very best in esports as we are live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia to bring you day number 3. It's elimination day. It's playoffs day. Welcome, as my name is Carlaris joining me, and I tried to blend in with my surroundings, Dark Templar style, and get this all rolling. But for now, it is going to be an exciting day. Every single game is for elimination or advancing. Joining me to my left-hand side, I have Rotterdam as well as Wardy to talk about everything that's going to be going on to start the day. Rotty, the games today should be spectacular. There is only elite level here for day 3.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely fantastic day of StarCraft games. I'm so
and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day here of the Esports World Cup, the EWC 2025 StarCraft 2 day number 3. We just wrapped up with the first 2 days of EWC with some insane matches, with some very hype gameplay as well. I'm still thinking about Mara versus Reynor. I'm still thinking about Classic versus Cyril and Hero versus Cure as well. We had some banger matches last night, and we are here to determine the playoffs. We're here to finalize the playoff bracket. We still have a couple of qualifying matches left in the group stage, and I'm sure we're about to get into the groups, and I'm sure we're about to show off the graphics soon momentarily on the main stream. Once we get into that though, we have 2 matches. We have 2 best of 5s ready for us here. It is going to be Reynor versus Zoun and Rogue versus Cure. Oh, here they come.
In its entirety, as we have the Jamil Motorsports walking.
Oh, you can see Reynor, Shin, Solar, Zoun.
He will be the first fixture of the day.
Let's go.
Alongside our Koreans making their way forwards as well. All musing about how are we going to beat the non-Koreans this tournament? What are we going to do? How do we topple the non-Koreans?
And did you see him walking out in swag as well with the EWC franchise jacket, the t-shirt? It's so good, and I can't believe we don't have any yet, James. But I heard we're gonna go on a mission.
He just wants some free merch, Pappy. Oh my god.
Find some, because I'm a little jelly of these pro gamers. If only I wasn't so stubborn and built Phoenix for 15 years straight, perhaps I would have had a cool jacket as well.
Maybe.
Curb you.
Little Rotty on the stage, Rotty the world champion, who knows?
More like a top 12 guy on a good day, mate.
But before we get to everything that is going on, let's check in on what's going on over at the Boulevard.
Behind me is the trophy that a lot of the teams are going to be biting for. Of course, StarCraft 2 always a big contributor, and today is elimination day. 8 players will be eliminated, and only 4 will remain heading into tomorrow. Speaking of the bigger picture, there is, of course, the team standings. And right now, Falcons and Vitality are in very strong positions. StarCraft 2 has always been a strong contributor, at least it was in the last year, with Clem putting Team Liquid up to the 2nd place. Still, 2 Team Liquid players also remain in Clem and Cure. And while Team Liquid lags behind, there is a chance they catch up via StarCraft 2.
This is the Esports World Cup Club Championship. The ultimate cross-game competition that will crown the best.
I don't know if you noticed, the reason why there were 2 cuts there is that they filmed it after. It was just interesting.
How it works. Clubs will be able to compete at the Esports World Cup.
Like after the fact, they were like, "Oh, we should probably say something about Team Liquid and Clem." Like, yeah, true.
Based on their placement in each title. To qualify for the club championship, a club will need a top 8 placement in at least 2 competitions. But to win the championship, a club must place first in at least 1 competition. At the end of the Esports World Cup, the 24 clubs with the highest number of points will earn a share of the 27 million. With the winner taking home a staggering $7 million. And of course, the title of the best esports club in the world. Who will rise above and write their place in history? Watch it all here at the Esports World Cup.
The Club Championship, of course, will keep rolling on for
It's
few more weeks here at the Esports World Cup. And
oh, yo, shout out to Team Vitality. But yeah, it's one of those things where because this year there are so many more esports involved in EWC. Last year there were less. This year there's more. So I don't know how much a championship win in an esport is worth, and I don't know how like impactful it is, and I don't know how much it means as much as a previous year. But regardless, I do hope that StarCraft can be impactful in some way when it comes to the standings. And then help bolster a team, whether it's Team Liquid or one of the other teams as well.
Vitality at the top. Obviously, Liquid today is going to be looking for some extra points here and there.
No, absolutely. You know me, James. I'm not an expert in all the games. I've been a little isolated in my StarCraft bubble for the last 15 years, but I have heard that a lot of other teams actually have very strong rosters in plenty of games that are still to come. So just because they are they're off to a good start doesn't mean that they've already peaked. Like, there's a lot of other stuff for them to look forward to. But I'm sure the Team Liquid, just like last year, is counting on both Clem and Cure to score a lot of points here. I know they're. I know they are watching.
Oh yeah, 100%. Someone like Clem getting them 1,000 in the last game. But anyway, let's take a look at how the key works here for the Esports World Cup, because some of them have most certainly already been crushed.
Duckling merch when one day.
No competition is as ruthless as the Esports World Cup. Its trophy system is no exception. The Club Championship Trophy, awarded to the one club that rose above the rest and reigned supreme across all EWC games. The Game Trophy, when a competitor closes their eyes, it's all they see, and it's not complete until it's sealed with a champion's key. Every participant earns a key engraved with their name. That's their right to compete. This year, returning champions hold a key unlike any other. Only one can place their key into the Game Trophy and become an EWC champion. The frame of the champion's key is embedded into the totem, a stone marker of legacy displaying every champion of the year. The keys of the eliminated will be crushed. The champions select 3 broken keys as a personal token, a reminder of who they have humbled. Beneath the totem, a resin block holds the remaining keys, a graveyard of fallen contenders. Will your dreams be broken or your name carved in gold and stone? At EWC, nothing is granted, everything is earned.
An opportunity to end the dreams of some of these players, but already some are done.
Oh, we've already faded out some of the names.
We have already lost here for the StarCraft 2 World Championship, as Cyan, Trigger, Bjorn, Hero Marine, out of these 16 in the main event are gone. But today, Rotterdam, we eliminate another 8.
Yeah, now today is going to be
crazy,
an old-fashioned bloodbath over here, and that is why today is so incredibly exciting. Of course, tomorrow is the championship day, and that's going to be ridiculously fun as well. But in a weird way,
Yeah, for those who are curious, again, it's a 4-day event with day 3, so we have 2 days left. 2 days left of StarCraft.
We're going from 12 to 4.
Yeah.
Making it to the final day is just
We're almost
such a
there.
big deal for any of these guys.
Obviously, it was grueling to go out in the previous days here, Wardy, but I do suspect maybe we'll get even a little bit of extra emotion out of some of the eliminations today, because you're so close to that bracket to then go out now. Devastating.
I mean, everyone's a match away from top 8 if they're not there already. But then the guys that are in top 8, they're going to be playing for top 4, and everyone wants to make the final day. Everyone has that prize in their eyes, and I think everyone knows they've got a decent chance at making a run here. Nobody is so outclassed that there's no opportunity at all.
Well, let's take a look at the Gadir top players here from yesterday and see what actually went down. We have a lot to recap on how
This is
Gonna be, James?
one of the main storylines of this year is that, like, the skill level between the players is a lot closer than in previous years. So players like not just Clem, Hero, and Cyril, but you have Classic as well. You have Reynor, of course. You have Maru. You have Cure. You have Rogue. Like, a lot of these guys can take each other out as well. So that's true. It's the most exciting thing is that, like, it's going to be a little bit harder to call this year than previous years. They're still your favorites, of course. 100%. They're still your favorite players. But we're here for the upsets, baby. Here for the back and forth.
I'm still alive. It was a great series, and of course, fantastic win for Zoun. But it did really. I just felt for Beyond, man. It was painful.
Yeah, then we had
it was sad for
Hero,
Bjorn.
and Hero just absolutely obliterated Cure in that series. There was a close game in there, but even the game that Cure won was so difficult for what it should have been. And then we ended up in Cyril versus Classic, which was pretty darn good by Cyril. Classic had a moment or two, but overall, Cyril getting that revenge from Dallas.
It kind of almost maybe even a wake-up call for some of the people that are like, Classic, he's on a high right now. I mean, we'll talk about that a little later on, of course.
We'll talk about that later.
We have yesterday's results coming on in. Do bear in mind, some of these matches were played over on the B stream as well, Roddy. So we didn't get to see some of them here on the A stream. There's some cheeky results coming in from that.
Yeah, I didn't get to see them, but we obviously are diehard StarCraft 2 nerds, so we open our phones and we have it on this side, and Rogue looked damn good against Hero Marine. I didn't expect Rogue to win that series, but I didn't expect him to wipe the floor with Gabe. 3-0, And Rogue, his mechanics, his creep spread, his run bys, his engagements, it all looks fantastic. So it's going to be incredibly fun for us to watch Rogue. And don't forget that today, for the last time, we also have a few more matches on the B stream. 2 more incredibly exciting best of 5.
Yes.
The ZvZ
Very
and
important.
the PvP. And I am pumped for both, man. I'll be watching. I
True.
don't know what else I have to do. Even if I have to cast on the main, I'm watching those games as well. Because
It's a little bit unfortunate, but 2 matches are going to be on the B stream, so there's going to be multiple series happening at once. So we won't be able to get an eye on Solar versus Shin. I'd love to, but we're going to be focusing on some of the other matches.
Showtime could potentially do something against Classic. That's an exciting one.
That's absolutely a coin flip in my eyes, right? Classic's good in PvP, but so is Showtime, and he's resilient. He does a lot of different things. He's not afraid of proxy. He will also expand. I think that series could honestly go either way.
I love watching this.
Yeah, Showtime can be very cheesy in PvP. We won't be able to cover it here on the channel, but Showtime versus Classic can go either way. Like, Showtime can be very aggressive and very cheesy in that
He can
matchup.
be phenomenal on these slightly smaller offline events. On online cups, he can be fantastic. But when it comes to the bigger stage, it doesn't matter how good your A game is. It matters how close can you get to your A game. What can you bring? And I do trust Classic in that regard a little bit more than Showtime.
Yeah.
But if it just comes down to raw skill and PvP understanding, I love Demour, man.
Now, I want to stick with you for a moment, Roddy, because, of course, yesterday we had a bit of a tough time picking our match of the day. However, Reynor versus Maru didn't take the title, but it was a ridiculously good series. Really came down to the wire.
PvP, or excuse me, the game on Ultra loved this. The ZvT had
Yeah.
everybody screaming it, everyone standing up. And I think what really added to it,
This
as
was the
well,
closest
shout out to
one.
Our technical director is showing the frustration that Reynor had once or twice in this game. The look of, oh, this is over, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, I cannot turn this around anymore. And to then still see him find a way to victory, and then the happiness, the explosion of joy. I mean, that's just the best thing about watching StarCraft.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it was really awesome. This game was just so amazing.
True.
right?
Is that
Back and
Geralt?
forth. Reynor was really in trouble, had to dig himself out.
I know that
Entire
Geralt,
series
he was
just
the,
go right, Maru, doing a
I know
couple
Geralt was the
different
technical
things.
director last year for EWC.
But yeah, it was really nice to see Reynor
He
get
might be the
something.
director this year as well. True.
Definitely. And on the opposite side of
We
things,
need
did have our
confirmation.
match of the day, which technically score-wise was a little more one-sided, but the matches really were anything but Wardy, because like you look at that game 1, right? 40 minutes worth of attrition from both of these players.
Yeah, it's what you want to see when you see Serral Classic. You know that at least one of those games is coming out. Sometimes there's a couple. Classic couldn't get on the winning end of it, unfortunately, but it was just a great display of how the late game can go. Serral was the better player yesterday, right? But the opportunity and the potential was definitely there for Classic. It was cool to see the other games looking a bit different as well, to really get kind of a a big spectrum of what goes on in this matchup. But Serral really was looking good yesterday, and that's awesome to see heading into the top 8 today for him.
What I love about watching Yona play ZvP is that he's so decisive when he needs to be, but he can also be so incredibly patient. And like we lose our main, like, that's painful. You lose all your tech, your production facilities, but he's not storming up that ramp. He's not going to take a bad fight into a bunch of High Templars and Archons. Like, I love those calls that he can make.
No, I completely agree. I mean, even watching the 40-minute match, right, where you're seeing the slow bleed out with abducts onto Tempest and stuff like that, and then the decisiveness of saying, okay, well, I think I've whittled down your bank enough. I'm going to make 51 Corruptors and be confident in that decision.
I said
This makes me actually
51
want to
as well,
check. Hold
James,
on.
but it was 52 for a split second.
No.
Yeah. I mean, that just breaks another record. You know, we already thought 51 Corruptor Remax was the record, but there was even 52 on that production.
Looks like Sano was casting the, observing the B stream.
Right?
Okay.
We have seen big rematches. We have seen the 100-something Zerglings on the production tab, but 52 Corruptors. I was incredibly worried that we were gonna again end up with.
Yeah, so Sano was doing the B stream. Maybe Indy was doing the main stream.
Had left over, and then last but not least, we saw Tempest on the production tab. It's like Classic. He just made 52 Corruptors.
Not the right choice.
Tempest is not easier.
Well, here are the Bravi reactions as we have plenty of them to boot. I mean, you could really just fill the key crushes with all of this, but we want to focus really on the matches here, Wardy. There's so much emotion running through these guys, even though they're in such high-octane situations where we saw people spiking up to 175 BPM in some of these games.
Yeah, I mean, Clem's emotions were the kind of greatest for me yesterday because he had those moments like, how did I lose that game? And then through elation, making it through. Even our defending champion is feeling the pressure here on the big stage because he knows what's ahead of him. He knows what he wants to do once again. He wants to go for that back-to-back. And yesterday, his life nearly got a bit more difficult.
Oh, hello, Yemi. Hello. Shema, papi, Shema.
Clem obviously moving through into that round.
Bienvenidos,
When you
bienvenidos.
look at Clem having what felt like such a decisive world championship in last year, and then you come into this year and you think, look at Group B as well, but there is so many huge tests for you in StarCraft 2 because these players are absolutely excellent.
Clem is just as good, if not better, than last year.
Agreed,
But
agreed.
so is the rest of the field.
Yes.
And the rest of the field has obviously
leveled up?
looked at Clem a lot more. Well, perhaps last year coming into it, a lot of them will look at, okay, if we want to become the champ, we have to beat Serral. This year, all eyes have been on Clem as well. Of course, they're still looking at Serral, and they're looking at Maro, and they're looking at Reynor and Hero, but they're absolutely 100% thinking of Clem non-stop. Clem is playing fantastic, but so is the opposition.
Let's take a look at the Aramco power ranking then, because of course at the very top, we've not had much changes going on as we've been discussing who we think might be able to eventually take this. And again, it's still very open, so this is by no means absolutely determined. But one name is a bit omitted from our favorites for today, Wardy, and that's Classic, because as much as Classic is powerful, he's kind of dropping to contender a little bit because of the vulnerability I think we saw against Serral.
I think it's fair to say if you get 3-0'd by one of the other favorites, it's fair to drop down to being a contender.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think.
I guess they're being
think
flexible
Classic's
with their
story
rankings,
came in
okay.
with so much hype. Everyone's really behind him. He's won a lot of the stuff, but he's been winning some stuff that some of the others didn't play in. Serral wasn't in these events that he's been winning, right? And so that 3-0,
Yeah,
I do think speaks.
we
a
were
little
gonna
bit of
save
like,
this for
hey,
later.
let's just remind ourselves who else is in
I'm
this
glad they're
competition.
bringing it up here. I think a lot of people are hyped about Classic that are like suffering from like recency bias sort of stuff. We were trying to emphasize a lot in the weeks coming into this is that there's been a lot of hype around Classic, but a reason why Hero was overshadowed so much in the weeks coming into EWC is because, again, as we were trying to emphasize, he hasn't been playing in anything. Like here, he has been avoiding the limelight. He's been avoiding playing in recent tournaments to hide his build and to hide his play. So like because of that, I think I saw a lot of people being like, "Oh, yeah, Classic's like #1 Protoss in the world right now." It's like the reason why you're thinking that is because you're not seeing Hero because he's not showing anything, like that sort of thing. So that's something that we try to like hammer into all of our viewers in like the weeks coming into EWC. So I appreciate that they're bringing it up here. That's after the series, but of course.
Dark Horses still alive in the tournament, still looking present, still towards down at the Dark Horse position here, Wardy. There is still an opportunity for Rogue to make that run happen.
I mean, look, the games he's played, I mean, he smashed Hero Marine. That was a very convincing performance against what we know is a very solid all-around player. And then he also took on Classic, and he took Classic to some limits, right? So I think Rogue, it's going to be really fun to watch him today, really fun to see if he could make top 8. And if he does, I could even smell a little upset from him.
I know it's comparing apples to oranges, but in a way you can say that Rogue looked a lot more convincing against Hero Marine than Serral did. And that doesn't say a whole lot, but it does just
Vulnerability
goes
against
to
Serral is a
show
healthy thing to
how
hold
good
against play.
Rogue was there,
I would
because
say that
Serral is not holding back. Serral
as you
is
mentioned
giving it
yesterday, I
his
look forward to a potential rematch between Classic versus Serral. We spoke about how it felt like Classic was assuming that Serral will play the same as he did previously. We spoke about how Serral has improved over time and how improved with all the custom games with Showtime when it comes to his late game ZvP. So the next time that Classic and Serral play, if assuming they do play again in this tournament, it's going to be a very different dynamic, I would assume, a very different kind of style out of Classic. I would imagine he'd be more assertive and more aggressive.
I'm there. I'm well over it.
Which we know he can be.
And then our PvP, which will be going on as well.
For sure.
You want to be tuning into those.
Yeah.
Solo versus Shin isn't just a knife fight in a telephone box. It's in a match box. It's just like they are dead close to one another. And then, of course, we have our schedule for Stream A as well, as we will be starting things off with Reynor versus Zoun. We'll get into that a little bit more. But also, what is very important is our round of 8 matches here. We're going to play out all of the round of 8 here.
Yeah, as for those who are curious, we're wrapping up the group stage here today, and then we're going to be covering the round of 8. Tomorrow is going to be the round of 4, like the semis, third place match, and finals. But here we will be getting into the playoffs.
The P3 matches are
Should be crazy.
Yes, they are mirrors, but when there is so much on the line, these mirrors are going to be so incredibly fun. It's
Oh, they're getting ready.
All right, let's start off.
The boys.
Today, this is do or die for Reynor or Zoun. One of them will be going home after this. One of them will be moving on forwards. Wardy coming on in. in. Reynor taking Maru to the absolute limit. What do you think against Zoun?
I think what Reynor's done this event so far just speaks volumes, right? He was so good against Shin. He was so close against Maru in some difficult kind of matchup scenarios for him. I think he's got ZvP a little bit more figured out than he did a month ago, and I think it's going to be a really tough day for Zoun, who can be tricksy, can mix it up, but over a best of 5, I find it difficult to see him taking 3 maps.
I feel Reynor has looked exceptional over the last 2 months, and I'm not saying that as a fan of Reynor or as a fanboy, but even if the results haven't quite been there, because you look at his finishes in GSL and Stardust Agora, you're like, well, that's good, but it's not exactly the guy who's going to win EWC, right? But if you just look at some specific games, if he's feeling it, if he's on point, if he gets well set up, he is as good as he's ever been. Back then when he won Katowice, when he made it to a BlizzCon final, Reynor looks phenomenal in these longer games where he can just let those hands go and we can get run by after run by. He just needs to make sure that he gets there, that he's able to show what he's truly made out of.
Yeah, I gotta agree. It's interesting for Reynor when you look at these really high-profile tournaments, these World Championships, because Reynor, when he's not winning a World Championship or getting to the final, he's always knocked out on like just a 1-map difference against the very best in the world, Wardy. And sometimes I feel a little bad for Reynor because he's showing insane quality, but he's just going up against someone that might slightly eke him out.
I mean, that's the beautiful thing about watching Reynor play, right? Is that he always brings the...
I mean, that's basically Reynor versus Oliveira, if you remember, when Oliveira went on his run.
The
I think, infamously, I should say, Reynor versus Oliveira.
He really does level up for these events, and that's why it's so hard to kind of talk about Reynor coming into this event, because we don't...
And if you remember, Reynor, he hopped on the casting couch afterwards, and after he saw Oliveira versus Cyril, he's like, you know what, I don't feel too bad anymore.
Well, let's hear from the man himself as Reynor is ready to go here for day number 3 of the Esports World Cup.
I am here with Reynor, who has a difficult opponent ahead of him in Zoun. But first, I want to touch on yesterday's match. I think it was one of the best matches in the tournament, especially that game 2 was absolutely crazy, a lot of back and forth. So how did you feel you played in that match against Maru? And obviously, it's difficult to be happy with the result, but tell me a little bit about it.
I mean, it sucks that I lost, especially because of the Cyclones, you know, like
True.
I knew beforehand that people were going to abuse the bug, but it's still a very strong unit right now. And I think I played very good, honestly. I think I lost mostly strategically, a bit unlucky as well. But I think the straight-up games, I played really well and very fast. So if I can keep up that level for today, I'm very confident.
All right, and Protoss, I mean, they don't have any bugs to abuse, but obviously the Rays got a few bumps with the buffs and whatnot. So how are you feeling going up against Zoun as an opponent? Like, do you see him as one of the strongest Protoss out there? And yeah, do you have some stuff prepared?
Yeah, I definitely have stuff prepared. I think Zoun is a very strong opponent. He's definitely like top 3 toss players in the tournament, I would say. And yeah, he's scary. But as I said, I feel like if I can keep up the level I played yesterday, I think, yeah, I probably will do good. We'll see, though.
We'll see. All right, Ricardo, thank you very much. Any final words, shout-outs, or anything like that?
No, I just want to say I'll probably bust out the Italian rep today, so it's coming.
It's coming.
Lovely.
Well, that was hearing from Reynor here, I think he probably feels quite confident about this one. Let's talk about Zoun here before we actually get to this, Roddy. What do you make of his prospects, his ambitions for this one?
Yeah, Zoun has all the reason to be very hopeful as well. He just won that home Story Cup, and sure, we didn't have Cyril, Reynor, and Clem there, but it's still an absolutely amazing victory and above all, a real confidence booster. Yeah. And right before that, Zoun is motivated apparently. He was also in Bulgaria for the Stardust Agora tournament.
Yo, we got Avidas.
He did beat Cyril there, 2-0 even in a best of 3. He lost the rematch, but hey, if you 2-0 Cyril, why
we have Ingelporio, Leyline, Persephone, Tokamak, and Last Fantasy. Let's go.
Right, these are the maps that all of these players, well, these players are going to be playing on. It
made it through.
Will start things off, but thank you very much, gentlemen. It is time to get day number 3 well underway. Oof, I just got a little bit of chills because we have got ourselves elimination day for a lot of these players. It's playoffs day. Day number 3 here for Star.
Here on the Corruptors, but you know, Cyril could lose many more and still close this out.
I would describe my group stage performance flawless, as that what it was, but at the same time, some of the...
Is that Omar had to say? Like, do you have any words? Do you have any feelings going into the playoffs? Now, let's go. It's okay. No, bring back the band. 5 de la mañana, papi. Buenos días, buenos días. Good morning.
18 of the best StarCraft 2 players in the world began their journey here at the Saudi National Bank Esports Arena at the Esports World Cup. And as our third day of competition unfolds, only the strongest will survive. And by the end of today, we will have our final 4, the ones who'll fight for glory, legacy, and the trophy.
Our key crusher will be working overtime today. 8 keys will be shattered, 8 tournament runs brought to a halt. It only gets tougher from here for our competitors, so send your favorites, your energy. We know they feel it, and we've got our first 2 competitors to start things off. So send it up for Basilisk's Reynor and Vitality's Zoun. After a win over
the rings are up.
and a deadly close match lost to Maru, Reynor faces his first Protoss of the tournament. Can he keep it together and weather the storm? Will he creep into a top 8 spot?
He fell in his opener, but he rallied by taking down a former world champion, Byun, in a hard-fought series. Now, another giant awaits. Reynor, another former world champion. From one legend to another, the road only gets steeper. Ladies and gentlemen, our first series of the day. Let's hand it over to our casters for Zoun versus Reynor, Protoss versus Zerg.
Oh, let's go.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll set up.
Also a good year. I think with
Okay, beautiful. Oh, but here we go. We are here. We are back with our first series of the broadcast. Again, baby, let's tell everyone one and all. I know that's depending on where you are in the world, waking up early, staying up late for some Esports World Cup. We have our first series, Reynor versus Zoun. And already, I did notice Reynor may be a little bit humbled here. If you remember Reynor's intro yesterday in day number 2, Reynor, he was blinged out. He had like a ring for each finger. He had his jacket, he had his chain on as well. He had that swagger, he had that sleeve. But here, the rings are off. The rings are off. You know, a little bit more tame in his composure coming into this. Maybe a little bit humbled after yesterday's broadcast, after yesterday's series against Maru. Now he's locked in. Less flair, but more focus out of Reynor. Likewise, Zoun, he also has been performing quite well when it comes to offline tournaments as of late, referring to Stars Agora, referring to Home Story Cup. For those that have not been watching StarCraft as of late, he was the Home Story Cup champion, and of course even beat several at Stars Agora as well. So Zoun has also been in form. He's also peaking in skill, and we're jumping into game 1. Game 1 is going to be on Incorporeal. Let's go. If you're in the chat, Gamba time soon, TM. We got you. We'll get into it. For now, we're loading into the first game of the series. Vámonos, papi. Vámonos. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the Italian Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. And in top left hand corner, we have the second room Protoss player. We have for Team Vitality, it is Zoun. We kind of got there. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we open up with a cannon rush. Let's go. I was about to say a couple of things here, but one, if you were watching Zoun during his matches at GSL in recent times, in recent era, he has been hyper aggressive, hyper cheesy, hyper aggressive. He has not been the most standard of players, and he opens up with a cannon rush. The Overlord does spot the pylon. Boys are being pulled. We have a second pylon behind this, and Zoun, can he pull off this rush? Can he pull this off? The second probe has arrived. The cannon does squeeze itself behind the mineral line. Ooh, and the cannon will finish. Yeah, that cannon will finish. Very nice positioning here from Zoun as the pylons are already complete. The second cannon will not. A little bit ambitious there from Zoun, but again, the first cannon will finish up, and he might be able to get more cannons up and running if he can keep those probes alive. Up, the probe's getting very low though, and so very low. He needs a little bit more time. Hello! Yeah, one probe goes down. He throws down 2 more cannons. One cannon is easily cancelled. It's canceled, but there we go. The cannon, the first one does complete, and that should be a cancel. That should be a cancel on this expansion. The cannons, they will finish, they will get up and running, and Reynor, he will not save the space. Ooh, does get a kill on the second probe. Does get 2 probe kills, but the cannons are done. You can see Reynor already expanding elsewhere. Does he let it finish? He does let it complete. Bold move here by Reynor. I don't know if he can save it. Again, Reynor, he's already expanding at the linear third base, already expanding on the left hand side, but that's going to be 3 cannons, and yeah, there's no saving this expansion. No way, no shot. That is going to be a kill on the hatchery. That is going to be a kill. Behind this, of course, there is a bit of a give and take. On the one hand, yes, Zoun, he kills the base, he kills the expansion, he also denied some mining time. On the other hand, his tech is delayed, his base is delayed as well, so there's a bit of a give and take here. Overall, I do prefer Zoun's position. Reynor even getting supply blocked as well. Brutal supply block here for Reynor. He has to build up that Overlord. He needs a little bit more time to break out of said supply block, and this is allowing Zoun to build up back at home, to fully wall off, eventually tech, eventually expand. So again, a great way to kick things off here. Now, what I was also about to get into in regards to ZvP, in regards to Reynor's play, if you've been watching Reynor as of late, he's been going for nothing but 3 base all-ins. Very rarely does he play into a longer macro game, so we have seen a lot of aggression out of Reynor, specifically 3 base play though. This is similar to how Shin and Solo have also been playing out ZvP as well. Not too similar to Serral. Serral had his own approach, of course, to Classic, but after the shaky start, after the chaotic opener here, we'll see how Reynor does, how he pivots from here. Does he go and drone up to 3 bases? Does he cut workers earlier on 2 bases instead? Does he try to punish Zoun for his delayed tech? We'll see. For now, the Stargate is on the way. It is going to be a Stargate open out of Zoun, but again, late Stargate, late expansion, everything is just off timing, everything is off beat for both players coming into game 1. Here we go. Go as we are moving out. Like, is it freezing cold on the East Coast as well? It has been very cold over the past like week, maybe 2 weeks. It's been very, very cold, especially at night for sure. Has been quite cold. I would say it's not as cold today. Like, we've had like 0 degrees like days, like that has happened, or 0 degrees nights. But today's okay. It's okay. As additional death does get across the map so far. 1, 2 drone kills already. Can we get 3? Oh, 3 drones going down. A little bit of lapse of control there for Reynor. Yeah, that should not have happened. That should not have gotten as much damage as it has. Likewise, depth is safe here alongside the cannons. And this is a very strong start for Zoun. 3 drone kills, denied expansion. We can see Reynor expanding on the right-hand side. Behind this, extra gateways are going to be on the way. Going for a 2-gate follow-up on 2 bases. It looks like Zoun, he may go for an additional adept, for an additional wave of adepts here. If you remember, we saw this with Classic. Basically, this follow-up that Zoun is going for is the same follow-up that Classic went for in his 3rd game against Serral, where he was able to get up to, I think it was 11 adepts. 11 adepts moving out across the map as he was expanding. Zoun's 3rd base is delayed, but again, he has an extra gateway to compensate for what should be extra vanilla adepts. As here come the oracles. You can see adepts are warping in. In my mind, we're going to be banking adepts. Yeah, as you can see, they're being held back. And it's going to be on Reynor here to delay, but the oracles are in position. And the oracles are ready. And so far, tempo is in favor of Zoun. As you can see, more adepts are warping in. So again, this is the same follow-up. Yep, more adepts. Again, remember, it's 3 gateways. The observer hasn't pointed it out, but there are 3 gateways I'm running, which is not normal. This is hyper-aggressive from Zoun. It's not all in, but it's more unexpected. And the problem right now is that Reynor's droning. Because he needs to, right? He needs to drone. He needs to catch up. I don't blame him for this. But I do worry about that adept counterattack. As we get the Overlord scout into the main. More adepts are warping in, and Zoun, he should soon move out. Yeah, here he comes. Here comes the move out. You can see it on the minimap. And again, this is more adepts than normal because of that extra gateway. And now he sees the gateway. Now Reynor is aware. He needs Zerglings because here comes Zoun. And there we go, 14 links in production. Sage Trap is not going to go up. Whew, that was close. That was very close. When Oracle gets started down, nice target firing at a Reynor. Adepts, they get behind the mineral line, but so far, no major damage. So far, Reynor is handling himself well. Yeah, so far, so good. Adepts, they shade in towards the 3rd, but the Lings are keeping up, and Reynor, he will shut this down, and Reynor will not lose additional drones. Whew. So again, a very nice defense here from Reynor. Remember, this build from Zoun, this actually delayed his third base and delayed his Twilight Council and Forge. So this was all delayed in favor of a third gateway and in favor of those extra adepts. So this is a nice follow-up here from Reynor. It was very necessary, and his comeback has begun. Like, it's been a shaky start for Reynor, but now he's bringing it back. Behind this, taking up into the Hydrogen, getting his 4th expansion. Double expanding even. Keeping up with the Oracle. Remember, Reynor, he already killed one of the Oracles as well, true, which did not pay for itself. So Zoun's had a shaky follow-up here, losing the Adepts, losing the Oracle, not getting economic damage done. And delaying his own expansion, delaying his own tech. Now we have Zoun trying to work towards Storm. Reynor, he's recovering. From here, he should be joining up to 80, and he's almost there. Getting into Lingbane Hydra. Yeah, and from here, I mean, I would imagine that Reynor's gonna cut workers. He's not gonna tech up. If you remember at the start of the series, we spoke about how Reynor is very fond of going for these big 3 base all-ins, maxing out on Lingbane Hydra, committing on Lair tech, not on Hive tech. And oh, that is not the case here. He is taking up. Okay, he is taking up, and he just made a wave drone, so he's droning up to 80. He's taking up into Hive, into Lurkers. Reynor is taking a slower approach. I don't blame him after what happened in the early game here, but I do think that he has since like recovered. So there's no pressure on him to commit. I think he still could, but is opting not to. Yeah, he's opting not to. So from here, Reynor looking to collapse in on top of the High Templar. He has no Banelings, unfortunately. He has the Nest. Storms, they do connect. They zone away the Hydras. Zealots, they're holding their own, and Reynor, he does overextend here. He needs to get out of here. He does force in an Archon. It's close. Yeah, very close. It looks like he does barely break through. Takes down all the High Templar, takes down the Archon, takes down the Prism as well. Not bad. I'll be honest, I wasn't really too convinced by this move out, and it's quite expensive for a trade. Reynor, he does lose his Hydras, but remember, he's on 88 workers. He can afford these trades, and he does punish down. Does punish him for the earlier investment. This is also why I believe that Reynor could have gone for an all-in. Like, if he didn't tech and if he had just committed, I think he could have broken him, but he opted to tech. So, kind of doing both here. Because it's been droning, now working towards Hive. Still winning these fights, and Reynor from here, he's snowballing out of control. And again, Zoun had such a great start to the game, but did lose that lead. Again, we were emphasizing how aggressive Zoun was being in the aftermath, and it just was not worth it. And it's snowballing out of control. It's snowballing out of control. Denies +2. Lurkers, they do move in. Again, momentum heavily in favor of Reynor, and he's going to run away with this. There's a couple of storms coming in, but no detection. No detection. Oh god, the High Templar, they run on top of the Lurkers. Lurkers, they deal with this. The Observer now comes in, but again, after the fact. Oh, a brutal trade there for Zoun. GG gets called, and Reynor, he takes game at number 1. Whew, GG. A very chaotic game here, and again, Zoun had such a strong start as well. Like, he did a great job denying mining time, killing workers, killing the expansion. Like, that was a successful cannon rush, but a little bit too overly aggressive in the aftermath. I mean, I say overly aggressive, I wouldn't be saying that if he was successful with the aggression. True, right? Like, if he had gone across the map, if Reynor was cutting lings, if he was droning, if Reynor was caught with his pants down, then Zoun, you know, he would have taken a further lead, but it was just a little bit too ambitious there, and in the end, it fell on its face. It was a risk from Zoun, and it was not worth it. In the end, the follow-up was kind of blundered there, and Reynor, he brought it all the way back, was able to drone up to 80 workers, and as we were emphasizing, he didn't even have to tech up into Lurkers, didn't have to tech up into the Hive. He could have just doubled down and gone for a max out on lair tech. We saw he was already being successful with his first attack with his Ling Hydra, but he opted to play a little bit slower. He did aggress on his opponent, but he didn't commit. He backed off, teched up into lurkers, and ended the game with that lurker timing. GG. GG, well played. Impressive recovery there from Reynor. And with that, we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. So we're getting into that second game, and we'll see what a cheeky opener Zoun has in store for us this time. He opened up with a cannon rush. Here, coming into game number 2, do we go for something cheeky as well? Do we go for a proxy? Do we go for a Twilight Council opener? Do we go for a Stargate? What's it going to be? As we're going to be loading into ley lines. Here we go. But here we go. Once again, I appreciate the the map intros. As we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the left-hand corner of Leylands, we have the Italian Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg representing Basilisk, leading the series 1-0. It is Reynor. And spawning in the bottom top right corner. It's down for Team Vitality. God, they just go in every time. Here we go. We are going to be setting up. This time, there's no fast forward. This time, we're setting up, but we do see Reynor forsake the unnatural natural. Likewise, we're going to be calming things down, settling in, getting into our openers. I don't expect to see another cannon rush in this series, maybe like in a game 4 or game 5, but for the most part, going for something like that, you do want to do it once. You don't want to rely on it too heavily here, especially at this level of play, which is why I'm looking for something different here. I'm looking to see, do we go for an earlier Twilight Council? Do we go for an earlier Robo? What exactly is going to be the tech of choice here? Is Zoun going to play standard, or is he going to mix things up? I feel like against Reynor, you do need to mix things up. I do feel like Reynor thrives against a standard Protoss player. That's where he can be at his strongest and be at his best. We'll see. As for now, Gate expanded to Cybercore out of Zoun. So far, everything's looking normal. Everything's looking as it should. Just say Reynor's playing with his pants down. No, I said he was trying to catch Reynor with his pants down. I'm referring to the follow-up Adept and Oracle aggression from Zoun. But the pants were up, baby. They were up. I'm telling you, Reynor, after yesterday, he's been humbled. He got rid of his rings. Got rid of his accessories. His second watch. He's locked in. As this is going to be a Stargate open out of Zoun. So far, so standard. That's from here. Going to be building up. We do expect to see once again an Oracle-based opener out of Zoun. He did go into a double Oracle into Phoenix last game. We could see that once again here. But overall, both players should be a lot more comfortable this time. They should be a lot more comfortable. As it was just a very quirky start to game 1. Meanwhile, there it is. This time it's not double Oracle into Phoenix, it is straight up Phoenix first. So Phoenix first out of Zoun. With this, he can deny vision, he can hide his follow-up, he can hide his tech. Now, this doesn't mean that he has to hide tech. It doesn't mean that there has to be a faster Twilight Council or a second Stargate, but there can be. And that's what's dangerous here about these Phoenix or Void Ray openers, is that Reynor is going to be in the dark. It's going to be up to Reynor to determine and to deduce what exactly is going on. For now, that's a second gateway. So he's not going up to 3 this time, not yet. But second gate is on the way. Overlord is found. Oh, once again, going up to a third gate. Okay, so just like last game, he is going to be investing a little bit harder into extra adepts. And again, ideally you want to hide them, you want to build them up, bank them up, and then move out across the map. And again, the extra gate is going to be delaying the third at Nexus. Lings, they collapse in, they get the probe. Don't quite get the Adept. And we'll see if Zoun is going to be more successful with his Adept push. As you can see, he's warping in set Adepts. You can see he's banking them up in the main. Again, as we mentioned, that third gateway that you can see here in the main base is not normal. That's not normal. It's not standard. We go Twilight Council now on the way. Delayed Forge out of Zoun. Interesting. So Zoun has the option to potentially go into Glaives here. Just the late Forge is a tell that something is a little bit off. As more Adepts are building up. We just had another morphin of 2 more Adepts. Still no Forge, still no upgrade. So what's it going to be? Are we going for Blink, Glaives, or Charge? It's going to be Blink. Okay, Blink, no Forge. With this, if this game continues and if there is no Forge, then we can turn this into a 3-base 8-gate all-in. Meanwhile, first things first, here come the 11 Adepts. I think 10 Adepts. Oh no, yeah, 11. Yeah, there we go. Just like the classic game. Does shade in between the bases. Stage trap going to be going off, and the stages will finish. Yeah, ooh, barely not. Oh my god, the Oracle goes down just in time. But drones are going to be falling. So far, 3 drones going to be going down. Adepts a shade into the main, and this time damage is being done. This time much more successful out of Zoun. Gets 4 drone kills and recalls back home. So this isn't game-ending damage, but damage nonetheless. So 4 workers do fall. Recalls back. So late Forge, but taking up into a Temple Archive. So we can see that Zoun, he's not going for a 3-base all-in. He's not going for an 8-gate. He is going for delayed upgrades and into Storm to make up for that. Into Faster Storm to make up for that. As a result, Zoun should be stuck at home. He's going to have faster Blink, true, but the Stalkers themselves are going to be a little bit lackluster. And this should give breathing room. This should give room here for Reynor to drone, to saturate. There we go. Infestation bits on the way. Once again, Reynor, he's taking up into Lurkers. Like, once again, I don't think he needs to. I think if he wants to, I think he could commit. But no, he is taking up quite quickly. Zoun going for a Gateway Explosion. As here we do have a bit of a lull. It's just a Reynor's POV, but here he's just droning. He should be droning up to 80 to be able to afford Hive and to be able to afford Lurker Tech. As you can see, the Hive has now begun. We should soon be seeing the Lurker Den as well. If Reynor is too greedy, he could just crumble to a Storm timing. High Templar and Storm should be soon momentarily. We can see that Zoun does take a 4th base, and Reynor does confirm that. But I'm curious to see if Zoun saturates the 4th or if it's just for show and if he intends to hit with Storm. So Mariah's on Zoun. If you remember, Classic played very similar to this. Actually, he played very similar to this on ley lines against Serral, if you remember. Where Classic, he went for 11 Adept Aggression into that Storm timing. Where he tried to break Serral, and instead it didn't quite work out. Storm is revealed. Ooh, that's a cancel! It's going to be a cancel on the expansion. Nice snipe here on the Phoenix. And now Reynor should be building up his army. Like right now, he's almost forcing a reaction. And there it is. Prism. Prism just now finished up. Archon's morphing in. Charge is almost complete. And it looks like Zoun should be pushing. Yeah, he's moving up this army. He has his army active in the center. There we go. Is moving out. And again, this game, did I say this game is looking very similar to Classic versus Serral on ley lines. I'm pretty sure this is the same build that Zoun is going for. As he's moving in, Lurkers are almost ready though. Oh, the Templar! That's 1, 2, 3 Templar going down. Ay, that should not have happened. That was 3 High Templar. And now there's only 2 left, only 1 with energy. There's 1 Storm. Okay, so another High Templar does come in. But that was a brutal start. Oh no. And Zoun, he has to back off behind this. Stargate's on the way, Fleet Beacon's on the way. The entire point of this build was this storm timing, was this move outs, and it's fallen on its face. Zoun, he shouldn't get any damage here. And my concern is that eventually he's going to be forced back, and when he is, I don't think Reynor's going to stop. Oh, this goes off. Zoun, he's posturing. Reynor, he's about to max. Not again! Gets two more High Templar. There's one left. One Templar left. I don't know how, but Zoun, he's just been exposing his High Templar, and so far that's what, 5 or 6 High Templar getting picked off before a single storm. Ay. There's a recall. Reynor, he's setting up. Takes down the cannon. Revelation does manage to tag some of these lurkers, but not all. Yeah, lurkers are getting free damage in the army, and Reynor, he's done it. He's done it. He breaks through the main army, breaks through the charge ults, breaks through a Templar. I say that with the Zealot Warpins. Cleans up most of the lurkers. Does clean them up. Okay, he's holding on. Tempest production has begun, and if given time, Zoun, he could recover, but the problem is, as we mentioned, once Zoun backs off, Reynor's not going to stop, and he's not stopping. He's not stopping. Reynor's pushing further in. At the same time, looks like a mineral line and a base may go down. Nice zealot run by here from Zoun. Oof. But Reynor, alas, he's in the 4th base. Denying mining time. Lings are in the natural. Reynor, he will lose a hatchery. True, he will lose an expansion. Alas, it may not matter. Yeah, Zoun is being pulled apart. He just lost so much momentum earlier. A lot of it came down to that fight, of course. The fight with his High Templar, but losing. Once again, 3 High Templar go down. Like, Zoun has just been so late to react every time with his Templar. As that was another 3 Templar falling. Again, I want to say that Reynor, he's caught out like 9 Templars throughout the course of this game without those storms popping up. Time and time again. And with that, Reynor now pushing into the 3rd. The Tempest, they're holding, they're surviving, they're allowing Zoun to stay in this game. As there's no easy way to get under the Tempest right now, not without a swarm of Hydras. And speaking of, here he comes. He's stutter stepping in. Ooh, and GG gets called. GG gets called. Reynor will overwhelm, and Reynor takes a 2-0 lead. Whew. GG, well played. Reynor, he does extend his lead here. Again, Zoun, unfortunately, I mean, there was a bit of a give and take here when it came to the openers. Zoun, he did hide his 3-gate follow-up. He was able to get some damage done with his 11 adept aggression, that is true, but once again, he lost the Oracle. He was forced back, and unfortunately, he was unable to save his 4th base. If you remember, that's what kicked everything off. His 4th base was cancelled, and that's kind of forced, I mean, I say it forced him. He was already going for his storm timing, but it was very lackluster. His 4th base was laid behind it, and more importantly, the engage went heavily in favor of Reynor. Reynor, he was able to flank the army, and remember, he caught 3 High Templar at the start. Before the fight even began, 3 Templar went down. There were only 2 Templar left, only 1 storm between them, and that meant that Zoun, he had no pushing power. He had no pushing power. The entire point of that build was that storm timing, and he missed it. He missed that timing. GG, well played. With that, Reynor extend his lead. He does extend his lead, and now he's 1 game away from claiming the series. GG, well played. Again, just a really rough setup there from Zoun. Like, the build itself was kind of coming together, and again, if that game looks similar or looks familiar to you, that was the same build that Classic also went for on ley lines against Serral. Alas, likewise against Serral, not as successful either. True. Yeah, here this is the initial 11 adept push. Which again, killed 4 drones, recalled back home. Like, this wasn't too bad. but we just kind of skipped over it here in the highlights. But yeah, it was in between this where Storm finished, Zoun pushed out with his prism, and then he got caught in the center. Got caught out in the center of the map. And here we go. From here, we're getting into game number 3, potentially the final game of the series. I was really looking forward to the Ace match. Remember, the Ace match is meant to be on Last Fantasy. We don't often see a lot of ZvPs on Last Fantasy, so I was going to be looking forward to it, but things are looking dire for Zoun. And if he asks for a break, I don't blame him. We'll see how he does adjust. I mean, there's definitely been some good moments for Zoun throughout the course of this series. I'm still thinking about game 1. Game 1 was a really nice start for Zoun, but he wasn't able to maintain that. He wasn't able to hold on to that. So we'll see what the plan is moving forward. And what he does cook up here for game number 3. Here we go. Something that we have seen Reynor struggle with, even in recent times, is Glaive Adepts. If you remember, if you were watching Reynor versus Showtime in the EWC European qualifiers, the qualifiers for this tournament, you will know that Showtime actually took a lot of games and almost knocked Reynor out in the qualifiers as well. Showtime had a really strong showing against Reynor, and he was quite heavily reliant on Glaive Adepts and different forms of Glaive Adept builds. And Reynor was torn apart. That is something that we can try to fall back on. But we'll see, because unfortunately, you don't really have any kind of leeway left in the series. You're already down 2-0. So we'll see. We shall see. I do appreciate that the StarCraft 2 trophy does have the motto in French. It's a nice little touch. Nice touch for the trophy. Oh. You know, that's weird. About to jump in. They're spamming 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A in the chat there. Yo, they both got their chromed keyboards. The chroma key. And here we go. Jumping into game 3. Game 3 is going to be on Persephone. I still feel like these map intros are missing their own unique like sound cue. That's my one criticism about the map intros. It would be nice. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. Leading the series a 2-0, 1 game away from claiming the series and advancing on to the playoffs. One of Master's all he needs. And in the top left-hand corner, we have Zoun for Team Vitality. He has to fight back here and now to make a series out of this, to bring us to game 4, to potentially bring us all the way to game 5. And the pressure is on. Can Zoun bring it back? Here we go. So now we do have our initial hatch gas pool. Reynor forsake the unnatural natural. Last same was said, same was done last game as well. Yo, Reynor. Listening to his beats, the Italian rap. It's going hard. Let's go. Nexus first. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Gate expand. Gate expand is Cybercore. I was blind to the placement of the gateway on the low ground. My apologies. Yo, the Geralt, he's really fond of Reynor just jamming out. He's let's go. For those of you that are unaware, I think the playlist, it has been made public a couple of years ago, but infamously, Reynor does listen to Italian rap when he plays StarCraft, when he competes. Often does rap along. True. Here we go. I think the playlist is like on, you probably find it on Reddit or something. Reddit on Twitter. But here we go. So now we are going to be settling in. Once again, it's going to be a Stargate opener out of Zoun. Isn't Goat also a lawyer? He has his degree. He already finished his studies. So yes, he is a lawyer. But he doesn't work at a firm. He like does like contract work at the moment. Yeah, let's go. So now we drive the Overlord going in for the scout. Once again, Phoenix opener out of Zoun, 2 games in a row. Now, if you remember last game, this Phoenix opener did attempt to hide a 3 gates follow-up. We have a second gateway on the way, and every game so far, actually, we have gone for that 3-gate follow-up as well. Both game 1, game 2. Do we go for it here in game 3? What is the plan? Our eyes are open. We are expecting another gateway. Oh, okay, for the first time this series, standard opener out of Zoun. Okay. Does go for a standard opener. Oh, I spoke too soon. That is a very fast Twilight Council. Very fast. Now, if you recall at the start of this game, I was talking about how Glaive Adepts have actually taken a lot of maps and a lot of games off of Reynor. We saw Showtime make use of them beautifully and actually bring Reynor to the brink in the EWC qualifiers. Here, Gateway Explosion, very early Twilight Council, no Forge alongside this. This does scream Glaive Adepts. So we'll see if Zoun does commit. Twilight Council's almost done. And show us, oh, not Glaives, we're going into charge. Okay, okay. He pulls out. Yeah, you can see he pulls out of gas. He pulls out of gas completely. He's going for the all-in. He's going for an all-in. Basically, this is a fake third. Fake third base. Gateway Explosion. We have 6 gateways behind this. Jesus, that's a lot of gateways. And this is designed to punish a player that skips out on roaches. But do you see what I see? I see a roach warren. I mean, again, Reynor, he hasn't made roaches this entire series, but he's playing safe this time. With that roach warren, he has access to roaches. He has the tools to defend. As we're getting into 7 gateways, I believe we can afford up to 8, up to an 8-gate 2-base all-in. I say 2 just because I guess we are pooling workers over to the 3rd base, so it is being saturated. The reason why you can do this is because, remember, there's no gas income. You can see here, there's no income on those gas geysers in the main. There's no Forge, no +1, no Temple Archives, no Archons, no Storm, no nothing. It's just pure Zealot. And if Reynor's too greedy, this can kill him. Reynor's poking in. He doesn't see any Zealots yet. Reynor, he's in the dark. Zealots are banking up back at home. And Reynor, does he notice? He's going for the Spire. Now is not the time for mutas. He's making more lings. Right now we need roaches. He breaks in. He knows. Now he sees, what is this too late? Yeah, now he starts roach production, but he already sees the army is already on creep. And Reynor hasn't been caught with his pants down. Zoun is pushing forward, pushing into the natural. The wall's going to be broken, and again, there's no roaches to defend. They only just began. Yeah, he needs those roaches. Reynor does pull away. Zelsa busts into the natural. And the Lings, they can't quite engage yet. They're stuck behind the mineral line. Nice around here at the ramp. Okay. Better engage at the ramp. The Roach Warren itself is under fire. And Reynor, he hasn't lost any workers yet. Just now losing drones. And the Roach Warren goes down. Yeah, massive pig off. The Roach Warren goes down. No more roach production. What you see is what you get. There's 9 more roaches popping out. Where there are so many zealots. And GG gets called. Reynor, he is caught with his pants down. He failed to confirm the all-in. And Zoun fights back. Whew. GG, well played. Zoun, he does fight back. Again, Reynor, he didn't see the roaches, sorry, he didn't see the zealots, he did not confirm the all-in, he didn't go into the main base, didn't see the gateway explosion, didn't see the lack of gases. Reynor was playing blind, not just playing blind, but he was also going into muta play as well, so he was cutting his own corners. He did have the roach warren, but again, he only started making roaches when the army was on creep, when the army was already on creep. So late scout, late realization, late reaction, and with that, Zoun takes game number 3. Let's go. And again, these are these kind of builds that can catch Reynor off guard. I was emphasizing adept play and glaive adept play and how Showtime was really successful with that against Reynor. Here, not quite adepts, but in a similar vein, we're going for hyper aggression, we're going for hidden tech, and our Reynor is going to be most likely a little bit safer coming into game 4. But we have a series. We have a back and forth, and Zoun, can we force the ace match? Can we bring it all the way to game 5? That's what I'm hoping for. Regardless how this goes, give us a game 5, papi. Give us Lost Fantasy. That's what I really want. Oh god. As it looks like Reynor, he has asked for a break here. Okay, so we're going to be going on a break. The players, they need some time, so we'll see you soon. We'll see you soon after the break here. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, Geranium Disruptor, massage your marine, because we'll be back soon with some more EWC. See you soon after the break. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, after that very short break, we have returned here with the remainder of our first series of the broadcast. Again, Reynor versus Zoun, ZvP, our first series of the broadcast. We're halfway through, and we have a series. We have a back and forth. Thankfully, I was a little bit concerned that it was going to be a little bit more one-sided, but no, Reynor, he's up 2-1, but Zoun, he has begun that comeback. He has begun that comeback, and we'll see if he can bring us all the way to the ace match. Here we go. We're loading into Tokamak. Let's go. Let us go. This morning in the top right hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Italian Zurich player, the red Zurich for Basilisk. It is Reynor, leading the series 2-1. And spawning in the one hand corner, we have the South Green Protoss player. It is Zoun for Team Vitality. Here we go. We're getting into our next game. We're getting into game number 4. So far, so good. Again, and Zoun, he has been able to mix things up here, but we're going to Tokamak, and this is where I'm concerned for Zoun. Tokamak, you've heard me mention this before, but this is going to be Reynor's map. This is one of the more standard maps in the map pool. This is one of the more defensive maps as well, where you can stabilize on 3, 4, 5 bases. I would say it is easier to comfortably get into the mid game and get into a longer game here on Tokamak, and because of that, catching a player off guard with aggression can be more difficult on this map. So if we're getting to a more standard game, that's where I'm going to be favoring Reynor, but we'll see what Zoun has in mind. We'll see if he does try to catch Reynor off guard once again. Hey, it's worked once already, but can it work again? I don't expect to see the same build, even if Zoun does go for hyper aggression. I don't expect to see the same build, but I do expect to see something maybe a little bit different nonetheless. We'll see. We shall see. As we are getting into our next game. So far, hatch gas pool, standard opener out of Reynor. Likewise, gate expanded to Cybercore out of Zoun, and there it is, Stargate opener once again. So every game so far is going for a Stargate opener. We have been mixing in some Phoenix-based builds and some Phoenix-based openers as well, so we could go for that once again, just to deny vision, just to keep Reynor in the dark, and to keep him guessing. And even if you're not really planning on hiding anything, it can be worth it just to kind of shroud your opponents in that ambiguity and try to keep them guessing as to what's going on. We'll see. So far, yep, there it is. Once again, Phoenix opener. And once again, Overlords are going to be hunted down. Once again, Reynor, he will be in the dark, and it'll be that much more difficult to confirm what exactly is going on. No shot, we go for charge again. No shot. No shot. As here comes the second gateway. No third gateway yet. As from here, that's going to be a much faster Twilight Council. Okay, that is a Twilight Council before Expand. Now, we were talking, and I was almost convinced it was going to be Glaive Adepts in game number 3 in the last game. Instead, it was Charged. A Gateway Explosion. Here, we'll keep an eye on the gases. This does, once again, look like Glaives, but hey, last game was Charged instead. I would imagine that this time it should be Glaives from the side of Zoun. Regardless, Hyper Aggression out of our Protoss player, going for a tech before the expansion. And again, because the first overload just went down, it makes it more difficult for Reynor to confirm this. He pokes in, he pulls away. Yet there it is, Glaive Adepts. Let's go. Again, this is what I had called last game, but then he just pulled out of gas. This time he stays in gas, is going into the Glaives. Now, remember, this is not an all-in. This is not an all-in. This is designed to maim. This is designed to maim the Zerg player, not to kill, but to cripple them and give you a lead coming into a longer mid-game, into a greater mid-game. So Adepts are going to be amassing. Reynor, he needs to be active with these Lings, and if he can see the mass amount of Adepts ahead of time, then he'll be notified to make Roaches back at home. As you can see, the Roach Horn is on the way, but just like last game, even though he has the tech, and even though he has the capacity to make Roaches, he won't make them unless he sees a reason to make them. So scouting is still paramount here for Reynor. Otherwise, he'll be droning, and he might be caught with his pants down again. So far, this is not a tell. He does spot 4 Adepts. It is standard to have 5 Adepts in this kind of game state. So this is not confirmation. Speaking of, yep, there we go. Those are the initial 5 Adepts. That is standard. It's the rest that are being hidden. Once Reynor does spot additional, like a 6+ Adept, and there we go. He knows. Yeah, he does see. This time he does scout. Roach production has begun, so a much better scout, much better response here from Reynor this time. Roaches are on the way, and Reynor should be walling up his natural. And speaking of, yep, there it is. There's that wall. But the drones are getting caught out. Yeah, drones are getting caught. Stage trap here at the part of the wall. Ooh, and drones are going down. And Reynor getting caught out. That's going to be 5, 6, 7. Drones going to be falling. Roaches are just now trickling in. They're going to be able to eventually deal with this, but once again, more denied mining. 11 drone kills, 12. And 12 workers go down. And remember, this is not an all-in. This is not meant to kill. This is not meant to kill his opponent, but meant to cripple. And now Zoun behind this. He's building up, saturating his bases. He's not going into Immortals, going into Storm. Interesting. I would say it's more standard to go into Immortal production. The hatchery getting very low. Clutch transfuse. And there's a recall. There's a recall back home. Now, without Roach speed, I don't really see Reynor counterattacking. So Reynor, he's stuck at home waiting for +1 range, waiting for Roach speed. He's redroning, resaturating. He lost, what, 12, 13 drones throughout the course of that aggression. Not a bad start here from Zoun. But Reynor has been rejoining. He's been rejoining, resaturating. Reynor is trying to recover. And we'll see if Zoun goes for a Storm timing from here. Morphing in those High Templar. Now, if you remember, we did mention something at the start of this game, how specifically on Talker Map, this map is known for being able to defend and stabilize on 4 bases. So Zoun, he has a choice to make. Right now, he's dealt to make no damage. He's taking up. He's getting a 4th. He might just turtle into Sky Toss. That is a viable option here for Zoun. So we'll see what he goes for. Behind this, getting his upgrades. Storm is complete. Keeping tabs on the Roach Army to make sure he's aware of whether or not he's safe or not. Upon seeing all those Roaches, yeah, he's focusing on his gateway composition. He's not taking up any further. He sees the army coming. Yeah, he does see him coming. He's getting ready. Sound is getting ready for the defense. I appreciate the warping of Stalkers in the main base. Just in case it would be Drop Lord at the same time. Or Harass. Dealing with the Overseer. High Templar. Oh, they do pull away in time. Whew. Does pull away. And what I'm most curious by right now is the tech. There it is. Now we can see it. Hive. Hive is on the way. Lurkerden is on the way. This confirms to us, now that we can see the production tab, that Reynor, he had no intention of committing. He had no intention of committing to that 4th base, committing to the fight. He has been taking up into lurkers this entire time. And I do favor Reynor's position here, just because he's getting into lurkers. And Zoun is not getting into Sky Toss. That would have been his time. That would have been his moment. The problem is that Zoun didn't know. He didn't know how committed or how uncommitted Reynor was. He doesn't know yet that Reynor is already working into a hive. So Zoun is committing with a ground army. We'll see if he can catch Reynor before the lurkers are ready. True. Right now, Reynor, he is somewhat vulnerable. The lurkers are not ready for this. Zoun is moving in. Now is his time. Yeah, storms on the roaches, storms on the hydras. Ooh, the 2 High Templar, 3 High Templar get targeted down. Very nice target firing there to Reynor. Ay, 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 that was crazy. And with that, I believe there's, yep, 1 storm. Only 1 storm left. Lurkers have morphed in. And as the lurker count gets higher, Reynor, he holds. Reynor does hold on. You can see the observer just pointed out the High Templar count. Again, Reynor, he intentionally did focus fire those High Templar. And Zoun, he fails to break Reynor. And now Reynor's getting out of hand. There's a storm. Lurkers moving in. The final High Templar just went down. As lurkers are set up. Detection a little bit farther behind. Decent blink here on top of the Hydras. Hydras are going down, but these are still expensive losses here for Zoun. Ay, 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 no! Yeah, you cannot afford to lose these Stalkers. Dives on the lurkers. Bold dive here does focus them down. It gets 1, 2, 3 lurkers do fall. Zoun, he's so committed, but he will lose everything. It does reinforce the Zealots, getting on top of the Hydras. A very intense fight here, but the longer this goes on, the better it is for Reynor. As Reynor still has a greater tech, does take the fight. We can see now Zoun is taking up into Sky Toss, but this is late. It's a late switch into Sky Toss. I mean, I say late. It would have been worth it if Zoun was able to break an expansion, but he didn't, right? He did not break the base, did not break the expansion. He lost too many High Templar too quickly. And Reynor, now he can max. Now he can max out on Ling Hydra Lurker. Upgrade's telling the real story. The tech is telling the real story. As we mentioned, like, the tech here is very far ahead for Reynor. Zoun, he needs time to build up his Tempest. He needs time to build up his Sky Toss. And the problem here is that, again, Reynor, he's maxed. He's maxed, so now he can push. Now he can push, now he can move out. Now, as we mentioned at the start of the series, once again, at the start of this game, it is still difficult to break a defending player on 4 bases here. So Reynor, he may just have to contain on 4 and deny the 5th. We'll see. We'll see if Zoun can keep up. As Zoun has a turtle. At this point, like, the win condition for Zoun is just turtle until he maxes. Nice Zealot run by. Very nice. Actually, very nice run by. It's forcing back the entire army. Let's go. Does force him back. Meanwhile, Drop Lords are getting ready. There's still a lot of potential here with the Drop Lords. That is one of the only ways to break a Protoss player here on 4 bases, is without a Nidus play or Drop Lords. Oh no, he's in position. He shuts down the Drop Lords. Zoun, he holds. Zoun, he holds. Zoun, he will max out. Again, that was Reynor's moment. And Zoun, he's doing it. So from here, Zoun, he can look to max, and now the next big moment for Zoun is, can he get a 5th? Can he get a 5th expansion? It's going to be up to Reynor to fight for it. As we mentioned, like, he has to fight for the 5th base, and he has to contain the Protoss for as long as possible while Reynor gets his own 6th and 7th expansion. Oh boy. As there is 5th base is on the way for Zoun. This is a big moment for him. Throws down his Nexus. Can he get it up and running? And now he's posturing in the center, keeping Reynor busy. Does keep him busy. Zoun rotates over towards the center expansion. Denies mining at the gold. Does deny mining. The Timbers are exposed. Has to pull away. One more volley. Ooh, gets the expansion. Nice snipe for the hatchery. Both armies are now maxed. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Reynor does have a Spire, but he hasn't started off. There we go. Plus one air attack is on the way. I am concerned about the lack of bases and lack of creep here for Reynor. I mean, it's on Reynor. He was the one that did decide to go for the massive Doom drop. He did decide to try to end the game earlier. And didn't quite work out. Zoun getting caught out there. Force a recall. Nidus into the natural. And Zoun, he does notice. Can he deny the Nidus? Oh, another Templar! No, 1, 2, 3 Templar going down. Ay, 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 once again. This keeps happening. Zoun, look after your Templar. That was 3 Templar falling, full of NG as well. Not like this. Meanwhile, the 5th base has yet to be saturated. There's some side defense. Ooh, Zoun's clumped up, but he will save the Nexus. And again, he's so close to getting it up and running, getting it saturated. Same time, Reynor going for a split push. Zoun's somewhat in position. With Zealots, though. Clutch Transfuse. Keeping the lurkers alive. Tempest have to respond. At the same time, nice Zealot run by. And again, we were emphasizing just how difficult it is to break a defending player here on Tokamak, and you can see that here and now. Ooh, oh god, that's gonna be all the high tempo going down the surround. Very nice surround here by Reynor. Oh my god. And once again, just out positioning Zoun. Taking fights, taking trades that he should not be. Hey, he finds a way. And he finds a way, just out trading his opponent. Making sure that Zoun, his bank is a little bit lackluster because of all these losses. Double Nidus into the main, into the natural. Yeah, we're getting chaotic here. Oh, picking up a Tempest. Tempest goes down. We're still lacking some of those Spire upgrades. Ooh, as this army will crumble from the side of Reynor. Yeah, he will lose the Lurkers, he will lose the Hydras. Reynor, he's also burning through his bank as well. And again, the economy is still a little bit lackluster for Reynor. I say the economy, his drone count is high, but the bases, that's what he's still working towards. Getting those fringe expansions up and running. I mean, this is also props to Zoun for being as active as he is. Like, he's not resting on his laurels. He's not just turtling. He's being very active. Yeah, and Reynor, he's in trouble. In a head-on fight, I have to favor Zoun. Reynor, he has no Tempest ready for this. He's still stuck on Hydra Lurker, no Spellcasters. Like, Reynor's army is designed to counterattack, and oh, he does force a recall. Speaking of, nice counterattack. Very nice. Oh no, not again. Protect your High Templar. But as we're seeing here, like, Reynor, he has to be as active as possible to keep Zoun back at home, because if Zoun ever pushes, like, that could just be game. Zoun will steamroll the main army, but that's why Reynor's going for these split pushes. Lunges forward. Oh. Dives on the Tempest. Zoun having a hard time splitting up his army. Nice storm on the Hydras. One Tempest goes down. And it looks like Reynor, he may just finally get an expansion here. It's still quite close. But the Nexus is finally going to go down, gets the mineral line. Again, you can sense the frustrations here from Zoun because, again, Zoun, he's been able to win a fight for the past, like, 5 minutes. Like, in a head-on fight, he can just A-move. But he's just been forced back home time and time and time again. And here he comes. For the second time. He's pushing across the map. Pushing into the expansions. Now, Reynor, he just lost a wave of lurkers, so his lurker count is very low. And I would want to see Zoun keep pushing, but he backs off. He backs off. He pulls away. I do think that he had potential there to keep pushing forward, but it does pivot away instead. This is giving Reynor time to rebuild his lurkers. Cast a curse? I mean, I feel like I was validated. I mean, at the very start of the game, we spoke about how difficult it is to break 4 basing Protoss and how important it was that Zoun go to 5th. We tried to emphasize those key moments during the cast. Did emphasize those moments. As Reynor dropping into the main. Once again, going for the Night Storms. He's been trying to get these Night Storms up and running the entire game. Once again, nice Zealot run by. Double Nice into the main base, but Zoun is all over this. Yeah, shuts down the Night Storms of Reynor. He cannot take this fight. He's getting caught out. Yeah, massive catch here. Reynor, he's cornered. He's going to trade as best he can. He does get 1 Eye Templar. Gets 1 Templar. He's going to get a second, maybe a 3rd Templar, but he will lose the main army. And yeah, you can see the frustrations there. Reynor losing everything. And I do think that Zoun could have pushed earlier. We spoke about it, like he could have committed earlier to take down more bases. Now, once again, I don't think Reynor can stop Zoun. Like now is the time. Zoun, he can A-move. he just send it. Keep going. Oh, Zoun, he turns around. Yeah, once again, Zoun has been so tentative, so scared. Pappy, there's nothing to be scared of. there's nothing there. You can send it, Pappy. Now, if given time, Reynor, he's rebuilding those lurkers. He's got 2 more lurkers just now finishing up. And I don't blame Zoun just because, I mean, he's down in the series. But we need some confidence, Pappy. As Reynor, he does go for the counterattack, does get under the Tempest. It's going to be 1 Tempest. Oh, not going down. And do we have any Storms? So far, 3 Eye Templar. Storms are available. Yeah, and GG gets called. As I mentioned, Zoun's main army could not be stopped. And with that, Zoun ties things up. We are going to the ace match. Whew, GG, well played. We are going to the ace match here. Again, Reynor, he had a really strong start. He had a really strong start to this game, but as we were mentioning, Reynor, he had, I guess, 2 options there. After he gained a lead at the beginning here of game number 4, he could either try to counterattack and break his opponent, or try to mass expand and contain. And he chose to counterattack. He chose to, if you remember, go for the Doom Drop. He chose to go for the Doom Drop into the main base and try to attack the 3rd and 4th base at the same time. In the end, Zoun, his defensive prowess was put to the test, and Zoun, he did defend. He shut down the Doom Drop very hard, and once that Doom Drop went down, he was able to shut down at both attacks at his fringe bases. From there, he stabilized on 4, then took a 5th base. And again, that was on Reynor. He made the decision to commit as hard as he did, instead of backing off, calming down, mass expanding, and focusing on a slower kind of lead up into late game instead. I will say that that does go in line with what Reynor is known for in this matchup. He's known for being aggressive and more active here, but this did hurt him in the end, specifically on Tokamak. Once again, something that we try to emphasize throughout the course of this game is that specifically this map, it is very difficult to break a player on 4 bases. This map, more than any other, does have a more defensive 4-base setup, more so than Maganatha, than Incorporeal, than Leylines, than any other map in the current map pool. That's also why we see a lot of late game on Tokamak as well. But here we go. From here, we're getting into the ace match. We're getting into game number 5. And this is what we wanted. What's coming in game 5? Last Fantasy. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. Last Fantasy is going to be coming up next. The most vetoed map in the map pool, but somehow, some way, Last Fantasy made it through the vetoes. This is a 3-player spawn map, and there is a lot to get into in regards to Last Fantasy. We'll get there. Let's go. Let us go. Here we go. Oh, Yemi, don't be a clown in the chat. Reynor needs borrowed roaches. True, he needs to have a smaller army with inefficient supply, with mass roach in the late game. Kappa. Here we go. We're getting to the next game. We're getting into Last Fantasy, the ace match of our first series. Let's go. We've made it. We rarely get to see the intro for it as well. As spawning in the bottom hand corner of Last Fantasy, we have the Italian Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. And spawning in the bottom on the right side of Last Fantasy, we have Zoun for Team Vitality. Those intros are pretty cool. They are. It's really cool that they brought together those map intros. Is really cool. The one thing that I said this before, the one thing that's missing from the map intros, which I wish they did, was like its own like stinger soundtrack. Sometimes the audio feels a little bit off that's playing while the intro is going, just because it's the same audio from like the previous scene. So it would be nice if there was some intro music for them as well. But outside of that, it's really sick. It is really sick. As welcome on to Last Fantasy. Last Fantasy being the first 3-player spawn map in the map pool in a very long time, in many years. It's been so long, and now they are back. And Last Fantasy is an interesting one as well. We have just a plethora of speed zones in the center of the map. I would say the Last Fantasy is... I want to say that it's one of the more defendable maps in the map pool. I don't know if you noticed this, but there are a lot of choke points. There are a lot of narrow ramps as well. There's not that many, or there's not that much kind of airspace in between the bases either, so it does feel like a map where you can turtle quite heavily on. I say feel like just because we haven't seen a lot of games on this map. The amount of games that we've had on Last Fantasy is very limited, so my perception of the map is a little bit limited as well in regards to what we've seen, what is effective, what isn't effective. So in my mind, I want to say that if Zoun takes a bit of a slower approach here, that he could try to go for a similar game set as last game, where he can maybe be aggressive, then turtle up on 4 bases and max out and get into Sky Toss. But the rush distance by ground is shorter on this map, and because of that, we might see Reynor be more aggressive and successfully be more aggressive as well. So we'll keep an eye on our players. For now, Hatch Gas Pool into a 3rd base, standard build here by Reynor, and I believe Stargate Opener from Zoun. Here we go. So it is Stargate from the side of Zoun. Opening up Phoenix once again. It's been very fond of these Phoenix openers. I know that Showtime is also very fond of it as well. Interesting to continue to see it. And both games so far, we have seen Zoun be quite successful with early game aggression. As a reminder, what did we see? Game number 3, we saw Zoun go for very fast charge, go for a hidden all-in, essentially. He was able to catch Reynor with his pants down. Game 4, what did we see? We saw Glaive Adepts. We saw Glaive Adepts be able to do quite a lot of economic damage as well. From there, Zoun, he was stuck at home. He was stuck defending back at home, and he was able to weather that storm and successfully defend. Once again, Twilight Council before Nexus. Once again, hyper aggression by Zoun. So game 3 went Charge, game 4 he went Glaives. Game 5 is it going to be Glaives once again, or do we go into a Dark Shrine instead? Ooh, that is going to be a 420 Roach-Horn timing here by Reynor. So a bit of an earlier Roach-Horn. But again, here comes the Gateway Explosion. This looks like Glavedeps. This looks like Glavedeps here from the side of Zoun. As he's taking extra gases. No, never mind. He does take the gas geyser. He's going back into Charge. Back into the build that we saw on Persephone. So that means he's most likely pulling out of gas. As I would like to get a better eye on the main base as he's still staying in. Oh. This is a little bit different. If he's staying in gas, he might decide to take up a little bit further instead. Robo's on the way. That should be for the War Prism at least. Should be for the Prism. For the time being, getting up to 6 gateways. Yeah, he pulls. Okay, there we go. Does pull out. So he pulls out after he has enough for the Prism. So this is the same build that we saw on Persephone. But this time, remember, Reynor, he went for a 420 Roach-Horn, and he's making Roaches much, much earlier. So earlier Warrior, earlier Blind Roach production as well. Reynor playing very safe, despite not seeing what's going on, despite not knowing. That's a lot of Roaches. So this time, he's not going to get caught out. He's not getting caught out. Roaches are massing. Yeah, that's 2 more gates. I think that's an 8-gate setup here from Zoun. And you can see that Reynor is still making Roaches. Like, Reynor, he should be fine. Like, he should have the tools to defend. I'd love to get an eye on the amount of Roaches, but I want to say we have like 20 plus Roaches at this point. Zealous, can still try to overwhelm, but with good kiting, with good positioning, Reynor, he should be okay. Yeah, Zealots are revealed. Reynor, he knows. He's massing up Roaches, and Zoun is transitioning. Yeah, Zoun is working towards Storm. Zoun sees all the Roaches, he backs off. And Reynor is in a much stronger position. Yeah, late Forge, late upgrades. Reynor with the response, going for the German taxi. I do really like this. Basically, Reynor, he shuts down the aggression, he shuts down the charge lots. He doesn't kill anything, he doesn't get any major damage, but he has deflected, and now he's turning this defense into an offense, into an all-in. So 3-base all-in here from Reynor. Mass Roach, German taxi. Loading up, overload speed is almost done, and Reynor's going to send everything across the map, and without Immortals to defend, it's going to be a tough hold for Zoun. The Storm is not ready. Yeah, Storm is not ready. Reynor, he's snowballing out of control, dives on the High Templar. It's going to be 1, 2 High Templar falling already, 2 High Templar left. Needs 5 more seconds. And even with that, the Roaches, they just get tickled by the Storms. They do not care. Reynor, he has done it. He will snowball out of control. A crazy follow-up here. And again, a much more defensive setup out of Reynor. GG gets called. And Reynor, he will snowball and take the series and advance on to the playoffs. Whew. GG. He will take it again. A cheeky build out of Zoun, but a cheekier build out of Reynor. Remember, blindly he went for the early Roach-Horn. Blindly he was making Roaches, and it all worked out well. It all lined up. He was able to deflect and able to punish Zoun for rushing into charge. For rushing into that very committed build. We saw that Zoun, after he saw the Roaches, he tried to transition out of it into Storm, but again, he was being greedy. He was getting a 4th base, and Zealots, they're not ideal against Roaches. That's why it was so important that Roaches were on the way, that we're building up. And likewise, defensively, Zealots, they do nothing. They do nothing against the Roach army. GG. GG, well played. I mean, shout to Zoun. Shout out to Zoun for making a series out of that, but I'm not too fond of the idea of Zoun going back into a previous build that he did indulge in game number 3. On top of that, especially on Last Fantasy, where again, I thought we were going to be going for a much more macro approach instead, but nah, not the case, not the case. GG well played. Reynor, he brought it back, and it was a shaky series as well. Reynor had a strong start to the series, but did falter.
Way to start the day. Reynor, you managed to get like the first 2 games of the series, and then we saw your opponent bring it back to that 5th game, and then you went for that all-in finish at the end. Congratulations, one heck of a series, but honestly, I want to jump it back all the way to game 1. You saw that kind of cannon rush coming. How were you able to adapt to it and take that first game?
I feel like this sort of build is never that good in a high-stakes tournament like this, because I always feel like it's really easy to mess up, and if you consider the pressure and stuff, it's, I don't know, he just fell really hard, like really far behind, because he had 2 pylons and 3 cannons. I think it was a smooth game after that. I just went with the flow a little bit.
Now, the games that weren't really so smooth, game 3, game 4, specifically game 3, it felt like you were caught off guard by the army of zealots.
He's got his rings back.
Was that the case? Were you expecting that kind of push?
Yeah, I was expecting it actually, but I feel like against that sort of opening, you gotta have a spire ready. But I really was smelling it, especially when he transferred the probes. It felt a bit, I don't know, sus. But I think I messed up my droning in that game because I was really far behind. So I don't know. I need to check it again.
And also, like, we kind of saw a similar thing in game 4. Were you also expecting him to double down with the zealot rush as well?
Yeah, it seemed to work. The 1 Stargate unit, like the double Stargate unit into some sort of pressure, so I was expecting something like that. It's just really hard to scout against those players when they don't want you to see anything, you know, it's really hard.
Now, just speaking of your opponents, your next one it's a teammate. You're going up against Cyril for a spot in the top 4.
Shot.
Walk me through it. How are you going to feel about that one? How are you going to prepare for such a matchup?
Well, it doesn't feel good because he's obviously a friend of mine and he's a teammate, so maybe it would have been better to meet in the finals, but gotta show no mercy, you know, I'll do my best.
Yeah, show no mercy indeed, because guess what? You get a chance to crush your first key, I believe, in this tournament, and what a key that's going to be to crush. But ladies and gentlemen, 1 series done. We still have 5 more throughout the 3rd day of competition here. Congratulations once again, Cyril, or Reynor. Apologies for joining us, and we're gonna head over back to the studio.
Smooch, baby, smooch. But I do think it's important that he brought it up. I mean, we didn't fully get into it, but yes, when it comes to, he was referring to how difficult it is to scout and to confirm whether it's charge, whether it's glaze, whether what kind of aggression or aggression in general coming at you, especially when they open Phoenix. You are heavily reliant on your Lings seeing the warp in, and seeing if they are going to be warping in charge lots or adepts, because either one is a tell, as there should be stalkers in that kind of game state in a standard game. So again, it's on the Zerg players to try to confirm that, but it is difficult just because, of course, your opponent's going to be doing the best they can to zone away your Lings, to catch them out, and to even force your Lings back home as well. So it is not easy. It is not easy, and that is where Reynor did struggle the most. But again, he did have a different approach coming into Last Fantasy. I wish that he asked him about that, specifically the plan coming into Last Fantasy, because remember, Reynor, he went for a blind 420 Roachhorn very early on Last Fantasy, looking like he had already planned to go for an all-in to begin with there. So I'd love to know like that thought process, whether that was the plan, why even Last Fantasy made it through the veto process as well. There's definitely a lot that I would love to hear from Reynor about that series and about that final game, but regardless, GG, well played. Whew. And Reynor, he makes it through, Pat, makes it through. Zoun put up a great fight. He did. Zoun did well. I mean, I can see a world where Zoun could claim that series as well. Last Fantasy was always going to be a weird one, just because of the map itself. So it was always going to be a weird one to get into. So I don't blame either player. The green wave hold. Where did this phrase come from? Does anyone know? Outside of I think it was day 1 or day 2, they were talking about this green wave. Like, is that like a meme on Reddit or something? Is that like like what? I understand that it's in reference to Protoss, but like I've never heard anyone say that. It feels almost manufactured, but like I don't, maybe people have been saying that like on like TL or something. I don't I don't know, baby. I don't know. Well, let's hear from the boys.